There's a reason I'm wearing this red shirt. That is because it is cut day, bloody cut day. And I'll tell you this, the Green Bay Packers are wasting no time. They got to get the roster to 53 men by 3 p.m. today. They've cut a ton of people, including a surprising cut, right? Only one cut yesterday. It was kind of a quiet day. Not much came out of Green Bay. But then this morning, they've gotten to work because they've made a ton of cuts on top of that. And reminder, 3 p.m. today, the 53-man is officially in. That doesn't mean it's released to the public. That means it has to be turned into the National Football League. But hey, we don't just give you the 53-man roster video. That's coming later. We try to get you updated on all the moves that they make, including the surprise cut. Green Bay released wide receiver Mecole Hardman. And I'm not going to lie to you, okay? This one kind of surprised me. If you watched my video yesterday projecting the 53-man roster, I actually had Mecole Hardman making it, okay? I had him as my sixth and final wide receiver. I thought at the end of the day they would maybe go Mecole Hardman over Malik Heath. And I thought that for multiple reasons, right? Obviously, Mecole Hardman had that terrible fumble on the snap, on the punt, the muff punt against the Jets week 1 of the preseason. Outside of that, I actually thought he played a really good couple of games. And obviously, he's an asset to this team when it comes to special teams. Malik Heath had just as bad of a game as Mecole Hardman did against the Jets. It wasn't fumbles. It was more like he had 3 drops, okay? And so I thought that they would go with the guy who's just had a little bit more of a veteran presence in the National Football League, especially with this really young wide receiver room, and a guy who could give you a little bit more on the special team side of things with Mecole Hardman. But alas, they choose Malik Heath. All in all, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but once Christian Watson comes back into this lineup and is officially part of this roster, then honestly, I think Malik Heath, his time will probably be over with Green Bay as well. We got a lot more to talk about, okay, including the rest of the 15 cuts that have been made over the last 24 hours. Before that, though, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Since we crossed 10,000 subscribers, we're up with the big boys, okay? We're 1,200 away from Titans today, 1,700 away from the OSU Football Report, and 2,900 away from the Bulls Report. I need you guys to help me out. Subscribe to the channel and jump on the bandwagon before it is too late, okay? We're trying to climb up this power ranking, so I need you guys to prove to me, the Packers fans, are the best, not only in the National Football League, but in the entire world. So here are the cuts so far, okay? And again, I'm refreshing my laptop to my left to make sure we didn't miss anything. And we actually have 2 additional ones. I will just vocalize those, okay? Kawan Baker, Trey Hill, J.J. Lippe, Johnny Lumpkin, Cornelius Johnson, Devontae O'Malley, James Esther, Taylor Elgersma, Isaiah Simmons, Brant Banks. Isaiah Simmons, we'll talk about him a little more in just a little bit. The rest of the cuts, Mecole Hardman, Israel Abanikanda, Lacita Smith, Amar Johnson, Julian Hicks. Apparently, they have been, pretty active in cutting the skill positions because Will Shepard and Tyrion Davis-Price, the 2 most recent cuts that have happened since we've started filming this video. So pretty much everybody on that list should not be too surprising outside of Mecole Hardman. And I would argue, I think Isaiah Simmons might surprise some people, but not for the same reason that Mecole did, okay? I don't necessarily think anybody thought Isaiah Simmons was going to make this roster because of what he did in the preseason, right? I actually labeled him as a cut candidate. But if you think back to this summer and you think of everything that's happened from the point he was signed to the point the preseason game started, everybody kind of thought he was going to be a key contributor for this team in 2025. Even Jeff Hafley thought so, saying the following. But I think he's off to a really good start. This was in late July, might I add. He's a great teammate. He brings great energy. Obviously, he has great physical tools. Our job is to develop him within our scheme and maximize what he can do. He is in a good spot. So he says he's in a good spot, right? And then 3 weeks later, he's cut. He's off of this team. That's just kind of how the National Football League rolls, unfortunately. If I'm being honest with you, though, in the summer, I'm talking June, July. It was signed in late April. I was convinced that Green Bay was going to be the difference for Isaiah Simmons. We've seen how it worked out in Arizona. We saw how it worked out in New York. But I think Green Bay's approach to Isaiah Simmons was different than either of those two franchises. And because of that, I thought he'd finally live up, maybe not to the potential of being a top 10 draft pick, but I thought he'd at least be a key contributor. And he thought so as well. He speaks on that, saying, what I ran most into of my career is everybody wants me to do everything, as opposed to letting me get really good at one thing first. I fully believe in Jeff Hafley's plan. He's letting me just lock in and learn a small portion first before we think about expanding to anything else. That's something I really appreciate because I never really had that opportunity to really just hone in on one position. It's hard enough to get into the NFL, let alone stay, as well as be effective at a position. So just being able to lock in on one thing, that's been, I feel like, huge for me. And for him, it just came down to not performing, right? Because they've addressed his skill set in the correct way. They did it differently. Arizona, New York, they threw everything at him. They said, you know what? We want you to be a corner in the slot. We want you to sometimes play safety, sometimes play linebacker, sometimes play edge rusher. How about you just go ahead and do everything for us? And obviously, that's a lot to process. That's a lot to go through. That's a lot to add. What Jeff Hafley thought, and I thought it was going to work, was let's strip you down. Let's just have you play linebacker, and let's see how that works out for you. Unfortunately, it really didn't change much. What say you? Does this cut surprise you? Okay, I'm talking about Isaiah Simmons. Or did you see it coming? Let me know in the comment section down below by giving me a yes or a no. In a second, you're going to hear from our friends at the Packers Report, and from our friends over at Underdog. Don't be afraid. Get down in the comment section and let me know your answer. There's only one thing better in this world than watching football, and that's watching football and winning money. And with our friends over at Underdog, you can do the two together, and it is so easy. Football is here, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Let's cut to the chase. If you download the app today and sign up with promo code Packers Report, you score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. And I know no pro football this weekend. We only got college football, and you might not be a college football fan. If not, guess what? They already got the picks out for the Packers game against the Detroit Lions. So give me the higher on Jordan Love passing touchdowns, 1.5. Give me the higher also on receiving yards for Jahmyr Gibbs, 25.5. And I guess it's going to be a pass-catching day for running backs because I also have higher than 2.5 receptions for Josh Jacobs. You can tail my picks. You can fade my picks. Just do it over with our friends at Underdog. Download the app today and sign up with promo code Packers Report to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code Packers Report. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 or older in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. So some practice squad candidates from the cuts we've had so far. This was made a little bit earlier. I think I'd add some names to this, but J.J. Lippe, Taylor Elgersma, and Brant Banks. Brant Banks, Rob Domofsky said himself he sees the opportunity for him to probably and possibly be a practice squad player. But when it comes down to Taylor Elgersma, I'm not going to lie to you. I am still intrigued with the skill set that he has, okay? I like it. I like some of the things that he showed me in the preseason. I like his Brett Favre gunslinger type mentality. I like a lot of things that he's going to bring possibly in the future. He's just so raw right now, okay? So I think that's why the practice squad would suit him perfectly. I think it'd be phenomenal for him, okay? And you got to think Malik Willis is the final year of his contract. And I know that's Mecole Hardman. Gage, can we get the Malik Willis photo up there? No worries. Malik Willis is going into the final year of his contract, okay? I don't know what his future is with Green Bay. I would not be surprised if they trade him closer to the deadline. I would not be surprised if they just kept him as an insurance piece, let that contract roll out, and then he's probably going to sign a bigger deal somewhere else in free agency. But if you sit Taylor Elgersma and you say, you know what? Maybe we can cultivate your skills and you could be the new backup after Malik Willis goes. I would not be surprised to see that happen. Some additional roster news, okay, before we get on out of here. Messiah Swinson and Jalen Simpson are also two other players that have been cut, safety and tight end. So now that brings the cut total up to 19 players. 19 players total. Just trying to keep you guys as updated as we can. Tell me down below in the comment section who is a surprise player that you see making this roster. Let me know down below in the comment section. And while you're down there, you'll see the links to my social media. Click those. Follow me on Twitter. But more than anything, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. We do this thing daily right here at the Packers Report. So if you have not joined us yet, today is the perfect day to do so. So hit that subscribe button.